It's dinner time, and there she is at the edge of the table, that gray-faced old friend who's been with you through more than you can count. Those eyes go up to you, then to your plate, then back to you, and your hand starts to drift down with a little piece of whatever you're eating. Stop for just 1 second. Because what you slip your senior dog under that table can either add good, comfortable years to their life or quietly take them away. And the difference isn't always the food you'd expect. I'm Dr. Ryan Mercer. In 15 years of practice, I've seen brilliant, loving owners accidentally harm their older dogs with kindness, with a treat, with a scrap, with something they were sure was harmless. I've also seen simple changes at the food bowl turn a stiff, tired old dog back into something closer to the dog they used to be. So let's get this right, because once a dog crosses 7, the rules quietly change. First, let me kill a myth that's been hurting older dogs for years. For a long time, people believed that as dogs age, you should cut their protein. That protein is hard on aging kidneys. The research has turned that on its head. For a healthy senior dog, protein does not damage the kidneys, and cutting it back too far does real harm. Here's why that matters so much. As dogs get older, they lose muscle. The same way we do. That muscle is what holds them up, what gets them off the floor, what keeps them steady on the stairs. And muscle is built from protein. So the single most important thing you can feed your older dog is high quality, easily digestible protein. Real named meats: chicken, turkey, fish. Nutritionists at major veterinary schools will tell you that most healthy seniors actually do better on slightly higher protein, not less, precisely to hold on to that muscle. When you see a dog over 7 start to get bony along the spine and hips while the belly stays round, that's often muscle loss, and good protein is part of the answer. Now stay with me, because the second thing on this list is the one I wish every owner of an older dog understood. Omega-3 fatty acids. The long chain kind, the ones that come from marine sources like fish oil. For an aging dog, these are close to a quiet miracle, and I don't use that word lightly. Omega-3s help calm inflammation throughout the body, and inflammation is the engine behind so much of what makes old dogs miserable. Achy joints, stiff mornings, that slow, careful way they lower themselves down. Good marine omega-3s fed consistently can genuinely take some of the ache out of arthritis and support the brain, the skin, and the coat at the same time. We'll come back to how to add them safely in a minute, because there's a catch. Alongside that, your older dog does well with gentle digestible fiber, things like pumpkin, sweet potato, certain whole grains which keep an aging gut moving and steady, and antioxidants from vegetables, which support a body that's not repairing itself as fast as it used to. And the most overlooked nutrient of all, the one that costs nothing, is water. Older dogs are more prone to dehydration and to kidney trouble, so fresh, clean water, always available, is not optional. If your dog is mostly on dry food and doesn't drink much, adding a little warm water or low sodium broth to soften the kibble is an easy win. So that's the build-up side. Protein for muscle, marine omega-3s for inflammation, fiber and antioxidants for a steady gut and body, and water, always. Now we have to talk about the other side of the table, because this is where good intentions turn dangerous fast. There is a short list of foods that are not just unhealthy for your dog, they are toxic, and some of them can do damage in shockingly small amounts. I want you to know these cold, the way you know not to touch a hot stove: grapes and raisins. This one stuns people. A handful of grapes, sometimes even less, can trigger sudden kidney failure in a dog, and we still can't fully predict which dog or which dose. For an older dog whose kidneys are already working harder than they used to, this is a line you never cross. No grapes, no raisins, not one, not as a treat, never. Then there's xylitol, and this is the silent one because it hides. Xylitol is a sugar substitute in sugar-free gum, in some candies, in certain peanut butters, in baked goods. In a dog, it can cause blood sugar to crash dangerously and can lead to liver failure. And here's the trap so many loving owners fall into. You smear peanut butter on a toy or a pill to help your old dog, never thinking to check the label. Check the label. If it says xylitol, it is not safe for your dog. Full stop. Onions and garlic and their whole family, and leeks and chives, damage a dog's red blood cells and can cause anemia. and it builds up over time. So the little bits in seasoned leftovers and table scraps add up. Chocolate, especially dark and baking chocolate, is toxic. Macadamia nuts, toxic. Alcohol, even small amounts, dangerous. Raw bread dough, which can rise and ferment inside the stomach, genuinely life-threatening. These aren't old wives' tales. These are the calls I take in the emergency room. Take a breath, because the last category is the one that hurts older dogs specifically, and it isn't about poison at all. Fatty foods, the trimmed fat off your steak, the bacon grease, the rich holiday leftovers, the buttery scraps. In an older dog, a sudden hit of fatty food can trigger pancreatitis, a painful, sometimes severe inflammation of the pancreas that lands dogs in the hospital, and it spikes around holidays for exactly this reason. And cooked bones, the ones left on your plate, are not a treat either. They splinter, and those splinters can pierce or block the gut. Every vet I know has a story about a dog and a cooked bone, and none of them end well. So let me make this clean and usable for you. On the yes side, think real protein, marine omega-3s, gentle fiber, fresh water. On the absolutely not side, memorize grapes and raisins, xylitol, onions and garlic, chocolate, macadamia nuts, alcohol, raw dough, fatty scraps, and cooked bones. When a food isn't on either list and you're not sure, the safest answer for an older dog is simply to skip it. Here's the part where I have to be honest with you, the way I'd be with a client sitting across from me. Everything I just described is general guidance for a typical healthy senior dog. Your dog might not be typical. A dog with existing kidney disease, heart disease, diabetes, or a weight problem may need a completely different plan. Sometimes a prescription diet, sometimes lower fat, sometimes adjusted protein. There is no single perfect bowl for every old dog. So before you make a big change, before you start that fish oil, before you switch foods, have your vet weigh in. A 5-minute conversation at your next visit, ideally with recent blood work, will tell you which of these rules apply to your dog and which need to be bent. I can give you the map. Your vet knows your dog's exact terrain, and one safety number worth saving in your phone tonight, right next to your vet's. The Pet Poison Helpline. If your dog ever gets into something on that toxic list, you don't wait for symptoms and you don't sit there Googling. You call immediately, because with poisonings, minutes matter and fast action is often the whole difference. So here's what you can do this week. Read the label on your peanut butter. Move the grapes and the chocolate to a shelf your clever old dog can't reach. Decide as a household that the dinner table is no longer a buffet, and find 1 or 2 safe treats everyone agrees on instead, like small pieces of plain cooked chicken or a little carrot. Your dog will not love you any less for it. They love you for the time and the attention, not the bacon. Let me leave you with this. That gray muzzle showing up at the table isn't really asking for your food. It's asking to be near you, the way it always has. The most loving thing you can put in that bowl isn't a scrap off your plate. It's the right food, chosen on purpose, that keeps those legs strong and that body comfortable for as long as we possibly can. You feed that dog every single day. That's a lot of chances to get it right, and you just took one. If this helped, stay with me, because the small daily choices are exactly where caring for an older dog is 1.